Hey everyone, welcome to the Poplar Report. We're going to check out some stores, Walmart, Dollar Tree, Sam's Club, Aldi, to see what kind of shortages are out there, at least here in the Pittsburgh area. I want to get this information out to you guys. Please check my work. Let me know what you guys are seeing in your areas. Without further ado, let's jump right into the pictures. All right, let's start over here at Dollar Tree. We see some issues in the craft section, in the section with like housewares and stuff like that. Also with some of the shampoos and body washes, just some of that is kind of out. But generally speaking, things looking pretty good at Dollar Tree. Some of you guys reporting some serious issues with your Dollar Trees. Now this is a more upscale neighborhood, and so this Dollar Tree does tend to be better stocked than most Dollar Trees and kept nicer and cleaner than most Dollar Trees as well. There were some issues in a couple places with the canned goods, and then also some things in the freezers. We had a couple missing things here and there, but generally speaking, well stocked in the canned goods and even the junk foods too. But surprisingly good. Some issues here with some of the bags and stuff like that, but generally speaking, well stocked. Even with the canned cat food and cat food at the Dollar Tree, that's looking pretty good, right? Let's hop over to Aldi. I'm also seeing some fairly good news out of Aldi, but there are still some issues with Aldi as well as Walmart out there. With Aldi, we're seeing things like just various little things just kind of missing, and usually they're pretty good at covering up these kind of outages, but there's your peppers, pitted olives, dill pickles. There's other varieties like right around them and stuff, and so even though there's some bread kind of missing, eggs are well stocked up. Even the hot dogs seem to be doing fairly well. We've been having some issues in previous weeks with that. Ramen noodles, pretty good. A couple things missing here and there. Before we dive into the rest of Aldi and Walmart, we do want to just thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. The phone number is right there on the screen. If you want to call them and ask them what moving an IRA over or moving a 401k over to physical metals like gold, silver, or platinum would look like, there's no obligations. If you give them a call, they'll answer your questions, no obligations. And if you decide to move forward with them, make sure you do mention this channel so that you do get that setup fee waived. That can save you a couple thousand. There'll also be a link at the end of the video. So like things like this, we got the pineapple chunks missing, but then the pineapple slices are right next to them. So, I mean, like, okay, maybe you can't get your pineapple chunks, but you can get your pineapple slices. Same thing like yams, canned yams missing. But, I mean, that's not like one of the most popular things out there, is it? Canned goods in general looking pretty good. Also, notice the broth. The beef broth and the chicken broth actually pretty well stocked right there. Walmart's been having a lot of issues with the beef broth and the chicken broth, and so to see that Aldi is not having problems with it, at least not recently, is interesting to note. Some of the different pastas they're having a little bit of an issue with there too, but par for the course, I think. Their Mexican section here, we got the tortillas, we got the beans and everything like that. Of course, they don't do name brands like Ortega or any of the other big name brands, but they seem to be having their supply chain relatively under control. Some of the olive oils out there are missing, but then again, there are other olive oils that they have. Of course, we're having those issues with the olive oil shortage coming out of Europe, so that is understandable. A couple missing things here and there in the freezer section. Over at Sam's Club, I did notice a couple things. They had one rotisserie chicken. This is becoming more and more common out there. I did not need the rotisserie chicken, and it looked a little sad, so I think that's why people didn't really want it. But they didn't have any in the cookers going. It's just they were out of rotisseries, and tough luck if you wanted a rotisserie chicken. Cisco said that there was a green bean shortage. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to impact the canned green beans too much, but it is making me a little more sensitive to keep an eye on what's going on with the canned green beans as well. So they do have those in stock. Okay, over at Walmart, One of the things I was noticing was the pizza was pretty well stocked, except for the really cheap budget side of things. So the Totino's pizzas and some of the GV pizzas on the lower end of the spectrum seem to be hard hit, and they do not seem to have great stock of the lower budget type pizzas. We had some issues with French fries last week, but this week, not seeing that problem again. They seem to be pretty well stocked with seasoned fries, hash browns, all the different kinds of frozen potatoes. They seem to actually be pretty well stocked up here. We're keeping an eye on that because we have the planting issues with potatoes. We've also had some bad harvests the last couple of years of potatoes, so we're keeping an eye on that. Budget items for like budget TV dinners, like banquet, did seem to be kind of low. There were a bunch of spots where they were missing. Once again, I think people are just pivoting towards the budget options, and I think that the brands are just not ready for that. Coffee. That's not how the coffee section should look. Maxwell House, not having enough to really fully stock the shelves, but there is enough for you to grab you some Maxwell House. So if you come here in the off hours or something like that and you suddenly see that there's no Maxwell House, they are putting it out on the shelf. It's just a matter of you getting there at the right time, it looks like. So if you drink Maxwell House particularly, Folgers looked a little bit better stocked, but if you're not able to find the stuff that you want, you just need to come back at a better hour or try a different day. That's where we're looking at right now. There isn't real major issues with long-term supply chain issues. It's just these short-term supply chain issues. All right, green beans, there's only like one can of green beans there. This is in the prepper section. And when it comes to the canned fruits, we're seeing there's a lot of fronting going on there. You'll notice that a bunch of these things don't have anything behind them. And so that's not a fully stocked shelf. And just what's going on with that. Also, some of the applesauces varieties are missing down there. Some of the brands and varieties are missing. So that's interesting. Also, the Hershey's syrup and the knockoff brand syrups, great value syrups. Now, with the cocoa shortage out there, that is to be expected. Prices for cocoa are going through the roof. So if you want cocoa, if you want syrups, chocolate syrups, hot chocolate, you might want to get stocked up now, friends, because it's just going to get worse. They had a bad harvest this year, and as they work through their harvest, we're just seeing prices going up more and more and more. The harvest was devastated. Will it be better next year? I don't know. But until we get to that next year's harvest, expect prices on and availability of cocoa to be more and more problematic. Rice and beans, there's enough for you to get stocked up on. That's what really matters. But definitely, they're definitely changing things up. It's like they're trying to hide issues that they're having there. They're trying to get you on other brands. They're trying to get you to buy more expensive stuff. They don't want you buying the GV rice and beans right now. Olives, to be expected, right? With the olive shortage out there in Europe, and olive oil, olives, vinegar is low. You can get anything you want right now for vinegar at the store. You just have to reach all the way back to the back of the shelf there. You have to get there at the right time. But there are increasing issues with vinegar, and we've been seeing those for quite a while. And once again, that's mostly on the industrial side that's causing problems. Some of the salad dressings, like small, out-of-the-way salad dressings like ranch dressing, fronting going on there and not well stocked. Name brands better stocked, but those cheap GV brands and such. Salsas, some missing on the salsa. Just taking a picture of the green beans there because of what we're kind of looking at. This is a great option to stock up on. They disappeared for a while, the GV pasta in a can kind of things. They're like little mini MREs that are cheaper. If you have these stocked up, you can just crack open that can and just eat straight out of the can. You don't have to heat them up. It tastes better if you heat them up, but just knowing that you have those on the shelf, that if you have a power outage and you don't even feel like cooking, you can just crack them open and just have a meal or two, right? That's an important thing. Glad to see them back on the shelf because they were missing for a little bit. We're seeing a couple little bits here and there with some of the canned chicken variety packs. They aren't fully stocked, but overall, seeing pretty good things there. Tuna, fish, name brand, having some issue in some of these categories here. But again, not looking too bad. Notice some of the chili is kind of missing. And pretty good stock on the Keystone meats as well. Do be careful, once again, about those small cans versus the big cans, especially if you're ordering online. Make sure you're getting the 28 ounces. That's the big cans, and it's a lot cheaper per ounce for those things. But that's looking fairly good overall. The panic prepper item, ramen noodles. That's what people grab when they start panicking. Now, we do have a storm about to hit southern Texas. Whether it's going to actually make it up to a hurricane or not, we're waiting to see that. But that may divert some ramen noodles down that way, and bottled water. We'll keep an eye on those things. Pasta section, name brand Barilla seems to be having a little bit of a problem there. The GV pasta looked better, but some of the name brands having some issue there. Continuing issues with the Campbell's soup. That's not looking very great there. With just availability stock up on that. We also have some of the spaghetti sauces. That empty shelf up there was actually name brand Del Grosso. So I was kind of trying to be sensitive to see if we're having issues with the GV stock, and actually we're not having as much as we are with the name brand stuff. I think people are pivoting to pasta because pasta is cheaper. So I think that's mostly what the issue is with the pasta out there. Chicken broth, beef broth, low in stock, and they're having trouble keeping the generic stuff on stock. They're just completely wiped out. What I think is happening is people are looking at the Campbell's soup. They're either having a bad experience, open up cans, and they're like, there's nothing in here except for water, and it's mostly broth. And then they're just looking down the aisle and they're saying, well, I can make it my own if I have broth. And so that's what they're doing, is they're going and making their own without all the additives, without all the garbage and bioengineered stuff that Campbell's is throwing in there. I think people are making their own soups, and that's why we're seeing issues with the broth. That's my little opinion on the matter. But sugar is still looking pretty good out here. I know some of you guys are having issues with sugar. With any of these topics, if you're seeing something different with your store, please do pop them down in the comments down below. Make sure you use the word update there. If you see someone else make a great comment that they forgot to put the word update in, you can always reply back to them and use the word update, and that will pop it up on my screen. Also, if some of you guys have mentioned some nasty comments being made in the comment section. Unfortunately, with 1,000 comments a day, it's impossible for me to keep up with them all. But if you want to bring one to my attention or something like that, you can reply back to them, and then somewhere in your comment, make sure you use the word update. You can kind of work it into a sentence if you want to kind of be on the down low on it. But that will make me see their comment when it pulls all those update comments out. But all right, so flour not looking too bad, but some of the smaller bags a little bit low. We have been seeing issues with vegetable oil, with canola as well as soybean oil. Those are a bit lower and in stock, and so Cisco has been telling us that it's basically the refineries aren't finding the profit there because they're paying more for the soybeans and they're getting less for the soybean oil. So the spread is not very much in their favor, so they're just lowering production, and that is causing availability issues. Of course, that'll mean the prices for soybean oil will start going back up again, and then they'll get their profit, and they'll be able to start making it again. So expect those prices to go up in the near future. Olive oil, of course, being in shortage out in Europe, but a lot of the oils that we see on the shelf are cut with other oils. You have to watch those labels really close and also know what these brands are doing. A lot of times they don't even have to tell you that they're cutting it with other oils. they can just still call it olive oil. But availability looking pretty good there. The chip aisle was actually really low. I was surprised to see that. Most of the times the chip aisle is very well stocked. I had to grab some pretzels, and so I went down there and was like, wow, that's kind of wiped out. That's interesting to see. Eggs looking pretty good. Milk overall fairly good, but of course when we get back into the creamer section, half and half, heavy cream, that's when we really start seeing issues. And we're still seeing those issues right now. That's pretty low in stock. The flavored creamers and stuff like that looked a little bit better, but that's kind of what we're seeing. Fake butter was really low. That was interesting to see. I know a lot of that's made out of soybean oil, vegetable oil, so that is probably why. But then there's the creamers and stuff like that. So let us know down in the comments down below what you guys are seeing where you are. Are you seeing the same things? Are you seeing something different? Make sure you use the word update in there. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right there on the screen. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group, you can either tap the thing on the screen, fill out a form, and they'll contact you. Or if you want to go back to the screen where I had the phone number on, or in the description down below, you can call them directly, ask your questions, and then decide if you want to give them more of your information. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.